Dawajcie widzowie, banujemy Kurier. Nie, żartuję. Twitch Administration.
Zapraszamy do siebie.
It was only a joke. Ktoś chce coś powiedzieć na zakończenie kanału?
Kurwa, ale...
Dowolne słowa.
I teraz, widzowie, lecimy.
Lecimy. Wszyscy cicho.
It's certainly been too long since we had one of these.
Jonathan, ty
Now, we
chuj.
had some struggles as a studio for a little while there, but we've got our shit together and we're back in action now. Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas is coming out 1 week from now on the 13th of June, and we're committing right now to a 4-month cycle for both PoE 1 and 2. That means the next PoE 2 League will be in August, and the next PoE 1 League after that will be in October. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Skull of Undeath helmet skin by following the instructions below. This Skull of Undeath will track and show your total number of kills, deaths, and your KDR. Just because Path of Exile isn't a first-person shooter doesn't mean this isn't important. Proudly or shamefully, link it to your friends or in global chat to show it off. And with that, let's get to why you're here. Secrets of the Atlas.
HDA na HC bez kitu.
You can search 1,000 worlds and still never truly discover who you are. Trust me. I should know.
I ściknąłem.
But now, I seek something more tangible. Someone I care for. Trapped within the Atlas.
Zana!
Reliving memories. Made real.
What have you done?
Made grotesque.
Czekaj, co?
Made foul. These manifestations must be destroyed. Their threats
to
must
wygląda jak
be
kurwa.
eradicated.
Wygląda jak
Stary z wywiadówki wrócił.
We must find the originator. We must save my sister.
The power is an illusion.
No, o, nowe fajnakle, dobra.
Ale czym jest Pineapple? To będą też Ubery?
Mogą być.
Zwykłe.
Mogą być Ubery.
Boże,
O,
15 na 15
Katalina
HC.
nowa.
Rukrafty, tak!
Or a target.
Nie wiem, czy nie za ten. Discord nie jest za głośno.
O kurwa.
Co?
Your sanity is not promised to you here.
Ja pierdolę. Ej, dobra, wygląda to dobrze.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile. As you
Dobra,
just saw from
słuchamy
the
panowie,
trailer,
kurwa,
there's
co się
a
dzieje?
lot to
Jest
show
i
you.
on. Lecimy.
Today, we will take you on a deep dive into the new Path of Exile Secrets of the Atlas Endgame update. Then, we'll explore the new Challenge League, the Mercenaries of Trathus. After that, we'll cover the integration of gold into PoE 1 and how we're bringing Settlers of Kalgur into the core game. Finally, we have a much-awaited upgrade to Betrayal League and a set of quality of life improvements. Then, we'll wrap up by discussing our Boss Kill race event, showing you our new
Boss Kill
supporter
race.
packs,
Dobra,
and
chyba-
ending with a live Q&A session, where Ziggy D will
Chyba
ask
nie
Jonathan
będę,
and I
nie wiem,
your
czy na
questions from
cmentarzysku
Twitch
teraz
chat.
grać.
In Path of
Tak,
Exile
mam.
Secrets of the Atlas,
Wiesz-
strange rifts have begun to appear across the Atlas. Zana has returned and appears to be trapped within.
Zana!
Partway through the endgame, you will meet Egan, an intelligent man of mysterious heritage. These tears in reality he has discovered are actually threads of memory, distorted and made real by the Atlas. Egan is able to create a link to these memory threads and open portals to them. Working with Egan, you must step through and find Zana, or whatever remains of her.
Okej, zrozumiane,
Okay, so
dobra.
that's the story
Lorowe
background.
zrozumienie.
But how does this expansion actually work?
Właśnie.
In the Secrets of the Atlas, the pursuit of Zana with Egon is a new storyline that is introduced in high-tier maps. Upon meeting Egon and discovering the tier, he will then transfer it to your map device and reveal this on your Atlas. a
Okej.
thread of memories. In order to now access each
Aha,
map on the
okej, czyli
thread,
taki
you simply
memory.
need to talk to
Aha.
Egan when you're ready, and he'll open the areas in sequence. These areas can be fully influenced by your Atlas
O,
tree,
okej, to jest
scarabs, fragments, and everything of the sort.
To jest
O,
git.
spoko.
As you work your way along the thread, you will discover that these maps have manifested dangerous threats, influenced by the memories of Zana herself. Monsters here are imbued with memory petals.
SST.
Defeat them to absorb this power, which can be unleashed as a special ability during combat. Different maps on the thread have different abilities, and these abilities appear on an additional mini skill bar next to your regular skills. For example, Memory of Disbelief will cause all affected monsters to stop dropping equipment items, meaning they can now only drop more valuable items, like currency
ej, to
and
jest-
maps.
Fajnie.
Memory
O,
of Panic will make all
zajebiste.
affected monsters revive
Dojebane.
immediately after death, which means you can get twice as much experience and drops from them.
O!
And Memory of Impatience will cause all surrounding enemies to give you their souls, temporarily increasing your power. As you progress further into the thread of memories, the maps can have more than one memory, and thus you can have more than one powerful ability.
Mi się wydaje
As you
OP.
gather memory petals,
Ja już
Trochę
widzę,
jak
jak
te
na
duszki, co
90.
kiedyś były.
No.
Each
Tak, ja
skill
już widzę, jak na
costs its own
95
amount of
przez
memory
przypadek
petals.
nie w tą paczkę klikam,
using
nie
the
to, co
examples
trzeba i
above,
mnie
you can
wysadzają
first
na
use
HC.
Memory of Impatience
je-
to become way more powerful, then use Memory of
Bardziej...
Panic to prepare them to revive when they are slain,
Kurde,
then
a co z
use Memory of
C17?
Disbelief to cause them to drop better, more valuable
Ty
items.
znowu wracamy do...
Finally, obliterate them all.
Oby
The
wyjebali
Memory
te
of
17,
Panic will
pozdro.
kick in, causing them to revive.
No bo
And
wychodzi
then
na to,
wipe
że
them out
znowu do
again,
T16
allowing you to
wracamy.
get all the experience and enhanced drops twice.
Albo to jest w ramach
There are many combinations of these
counterweight,
powers,
nie?
so you'll have to
Wobec
carefully
T17,
consider
z
how they
których
best
dużo
work
lepszy.
together.
Możliwe.
That's not the only extra layer of content juicing these maps offer.
O, derwisz.
As you defeat the boss of each map along the thread, you are presented with an altar. This altar will apply a modifier to all following maps in the thread, and these will stack as you go.
Ja
So
już
the
widzę
deeper you
farmę,
delve into a
nie?
memory, the more
Temów.
mods you will have. This, combined with the special abilities, will allow for some of the most juice maps ever run in Path of Exile.
Ej, nie jest to głupi
Let's take a look at
system.
some of
No,
these.
Fajne.
fajne.
You are always presented with two choices and must pick one.
Takie trochę połączenie...
This mod, for example, will cause some rare
Affliction
monsters to be
z-
possessed by tormented spirits,
influencem, w sensie
where
z
this mod
iterowymi
makes Kirik
rzeczami i tak
modifiers
dalej.
free to craft.
Tak,
Both
tak,
of
no
these
plus ta
apply to
dodatkowa, co tam
all
sobie wydajesz te
subsequent maps on
petale,
the
nie?
thread. The final map in each thread is a true challenge, with all the altar mods applying to it and guarded by a powerful boss.
Okej.
Each of these bosses are familiar,
Aha, to
but
jakiś nowy
dreamlike,
boss, to?
drawn from Zana's
jest-
memories and warped by the Atlas into something very different and terrifying.
Okej.
In this map, you will fight the pinnacle boss, Cirrus. Fueled by Zana's affectionate memories of him,
Oj, to
his
rację
enhanced
będzie bolało.
abilities can prove to
Oj,
be a
będę
unique
cierpieć.
challenge.
Chodź.
If you manage to defeat
Ej,
Cirrus,
fajne to
or
będzie.
one of the other warped memory bosses,
Czyli nie ma
they will
standardowego
drop a map
Sirusa?
fragment, which
Jest,
Egan can
chyba.
use to
Sam,
delve
tylko
jest,
deeper
to
tylko ten
into the
jest.
tak
memory
jest,
tears.
tylko ten jest jakiś dodatkowy, nie?
Aha.
Jest inaczej
With
nazwany,
these,
pewnie
you
jest
can
trochę
access a
słabszy.
set of 3 new pinnacle bosses. In this arena, the moment of reverence,
Co to
Zana is
jest?
reliving a memory of her
Bossy
Na
father,
nowe, czyli
Baldo,
Schuber?
giving a passionate
Tak.
speech in Oriath. The Atlas distorts this memory of her father as a powerful,
Mam nadzieję, że to nie
influential
będzie
man
za każdym
and
razem tak
manifests those
wychodzi.
emotions into a twisted nightmare, the incarnation of dread.
Co?
Pozdro,
Another memory
kurkowicze.
created is the
Jezu, Uber
incarnation
z
of neglect
fazami.
and the incarnation of fear. Good luck, exiles. Of course, if you are brave and strong enough to defeat them, each of these
Oj,
new
chuj,
pinnacle
będę płakał na
bosses
tym
have
HC,
new
oj,
unique
będę
items
płakał.
befitting them.
Licz
If
cirkle.
you slay the incarnation of fear, you
Starfall
might be
on
lucky
melee?
enough to find the
Ej, to
Star
wygląda
Caller unique abyssal axe.
Obiecująco.
We're gonna show this one because it's straight up
Dajcie mi to
badass.
już.
Co to jest?
The Star
Zajebiste!
Caller axe is a weapon that can harness the
kurwa.
power of the stars themselves to deal immense damage. What makes it shine, however, is that on melee crit, it casts Starfall, a new skill. With the right build, You can carpet entire areas
Ale
and
to,
wipe out
to jest
screens of
trigger on
enemies
hit
as
jak
you
na
rain
Gaham
down the
Flame,
elements
plus
upon them.
możesz jeszcze
on
koka
cock.
zagrać.
Another item you may find, and this one is
Ja
my
pierdolę.
favorite, is the Wine of the Prophet unique flask. It consumes a lot of charges, but every time you use it, you draw a random divination card. This card appears above you and correlates to a powerful buff. If you draw the Escape card, you'll gain increased movement speed. Or maybe you'll draw the Doctor, which would cause you to gain the modifiers of Slain Rares.
Twisted
Effectively, you can think of this unique as being many other uniques all in one. There are many, many cards to draw, each with varying
Nie
degrees
no,
of power to
inspiracja
draw.
ligą.
Okay, but let's get back to
Kurwa,
the
co jest?
After defeating all 3 new pinnacle bosses, you'll be able to find new memory-influenced Tier 16 maps. These maps come with the previously mentioned special abilities and monsters infused with memory petals, but can also roll the
Oj.
same modifiers typically found
Dobrze,
on Tier
wszystko
17
wiemy,
maps,
Mark, super jest,
making them
podoba
far
nam
more
się.
rewarding.
Wyjeb te 17.
With all these new memory maps comes a new item mechanic. Items in
Okay.
these maps can drop with memory strands, and will have a random amount up to 100. This does a few things. When you identify the item, it will increase the tiers of modifiers your item has. Generally
O
speaking,
kurwa.
the more memory strands, the better the item will be. On top of this, whenever you're crafting that item
Dobra,
using
pozdro
currency
skinę
orbs
korą
to
w tej
replace
lidze,
or
nie?
add modifiers, such as alterations, chaos, and so forth, it will consume some memory strands to make the crafted mods more powerful.
Jak na razie
The new
ciekawie.
pinnacle bosses also drop new crafting currencies, which can be used to manipulate
A,
the
to
amount
taki
of
system
memory
jak
strands on
z
an
Last
item.
Lastipoczka.
The Orb of Remembrance will let you add memory strands to any normal equipment. So if you have your perfect base to craft on, and it doesn't already have memory strands,
Co?
you can add some before
Oh.
crafting it. The Orb of Unraveling will consume all remaining memory strands on an item to randomly upgrade its mod tiers. This orb's
O kurwa.
effectiveness is based on the number of memory strands it consumes.
Hermes zobaczył
The
miniony.
Orb of Intention can be used
Nie,
on
nie,
memory
przecież chodzi o
influence
to, co tam
maps
się
to
dzieje.
reduce item drops, but improve the chance to find items with memory strands. In the process of adding these new currency items, we realized something was missing. The Shaper and the Elder did not have their own
To
Exalted
wiemy.
Orbs.
Dokładnie.
This has now been rectified. Both bosses now have Exalted Orbs, which can add their influence to an item. Zana was there
Fajnie, bo
from the
będzie
beginning.
można w ogóle
When the
wywalić,
Shaper
nie?
Pinnacle fight
Wszystkie,
was first
wszystkie
added.
bazy z...
She helped defeat the Elder, and she was a
Conquerorów.
critical part
Pytanie
of the
jaki
Conqueror's
dropplate
story.
będzie, no?
Now, with all 6 influence types having their own
It's
Exalted
AI.
Orbs, the cycle is complete. It's
Dokładnie,
almost as if we could
brakowało
now do
tego.
some sort of new, epic, unique item to interact with
Okej,
them.
to mi się podoba. Ja trochę jestem w tyle za wami,
In
bo
other
niestety nie mam
news,
internetu, więc
there
dlatego
of
mam
course
takie
has
spóźnione
to be
komentarze,
Atlas
ale fajne,
passive tree
spoko.
support
Też
for
je
this new
parowali.
in-game content. Let's take a look
kurwa.
at a few things we're adding.
Okej.
The
O,
Grasp the Past notable passive skill
pomieszali
increases
w
the chance
drzewku.
for the amount of memory strands on items dropped in your memory
Czyli znowu
influence
trzeba
maps
będzie
to be
to
lucky.
porozdawać.
This means
Kurwa.
it will roll the number
to mi
of
się nie
memory
podoba.
strands twice.
No.
No znowu to
keeping
jest
the
based
highest
on
value.
te na farmienie
By
unmakingów,
allocating
nawet na
traumatic
SSF-ie to jest drama.
experience, remembered kindness, or educated
I
others,
to jest
Zakładam,
na
że-
samym końcu,
you'll
nie?
decrease the
Że u
chance of
Faustusa
finding
nie ma
memory
resetu
threads
Atlasu
that lead to
za
specific
golda.
bosses.
Jeszcze nie wiemy, czy
Meaning
zostaje
you'll have
Faustus.
better chances at finding the
Zostaje.
memory threads
A.
you would like to run.
Nie wiemy tego jeszcze.
This is especially useful if you want to target farm a specific boss because of its unique item drops.
Mogliby
In sum,
kurwa
the
respeka za
secrets
darmo
of the
zrobić.
Atlas will have you questioning what is real, as you attempt to free
Nie za
Zana
darmo, ale
from
jakąś
warped
metodę
memories
wprowadzić nawet z tym
scattered
goldem.
throughout the Atlas. You'll fight new Guardian and Pinnacle bosses tormenting her, find crazy new Pinnacle uniques, combine and unleash memory petal-empowered skills, juice maps to new heights, and craft powerful new
On nie ma
items.
DPS-u, czy to ma tyle HP?
While we were showing all the juicy
On
rewards from the new
Spectral
in-game
grał,
system,
więc...
Dobra,
you
gold.
might have noticed that a lot of gold was dropping. Let's
Okay.
talk about that.
Okej, jak gold
Dobra,
zostaje,
najważniejsze.
to...
Used during
rzecz.
the Settlers of Calgary
Faustus.
expansion.
Dobra.
It funded the development and operations of Kingsmarch. Along with various new features such
No
as
to
the
już
currency
wiemy.
exchange,
To jest zajebiste.
the black market,
To jest zajebiste.
Tak.
and the passive respec
I
system
to
with
jest,
Faustus.
kurwa, to, co walczyłem!
To co nic nie
Those
robiłem.
features offered by Faustus will be here to stay, along with some of the other services Kingsmarch has to offer. We'll get more into that later, but don't worry. Kingsmarch has already been completed. There will be
Okay,
no
that's
more
good.
town building.
Och, dobrze.
Like before,
Czy jest
gold
na
will be
full
used
od
for
razu?
town services,
Tak, już
but we're
nie
also
zdzierżył
adding a new
kolejny
way to
raz
use it in
budować
our
to.
upcoming league. It's time to
Ja
talk
miałem
about
800 godzin w tej
Mercenaries
lidze,
of
dlatego mi się
Trathus.
zajebał.
Cicho.
In this league, you will meet veterans who have traveled all the way from the lawless cities of Trathus. They're ready to offer their sinister services, but not for free. You will encounter these mercenaries as you journey through Rayclast, one in each area. They have their own personalities and come with different builds, skills, and items already equipped. After meeting them, as per the Trathan code, they will challenge you to a duel, a test of strength and conviction. Before beginning the duel, you will be offered an overview of the mercenary you've encountered.
Merce?
Here, you can see the gear they have equipped, the skills they employ,
Merces
and any
D2.
support effects augmenting those skills. You must now make a choice. You can hire their services, take one of their items, or exile them.
What
If
the
you choose to hire them, for a gold cost, they will accompany you as a skilled combatant to assist you in fighting monsters throughout Rayclast.
Już
Once you've
widzę Merca
decided,
u
you
roboty,
can
nie?
begin the duel. This is a
Ciekaw
great
jestem, czy
opportunity
mogą
to
mieć
test
mage
them,
blady.
as you don't want to be out of pocket with a useless rookie. However, they're testing you too. They also don't want to be working for an amateur.
Ale tonki.
So, what items might they be using? Generally speaking, mercenary gear is more powerful than what you'd normally find from defeating monsters, as they've been crafting their items too. They can also come equipped with unique items,
Co?
those that would make sense for the skills they are using.
Mage blood S?
There are even some new unique items that can only be obtained from defeating them. One such unique is Scorn Flux. These boots combine
To biorę
agility with the
mercenara i co?
mastery of the
Jebie go
arcane.
tam na
kurwa.
questeku
Increases to
eku.
cast speed from Arcane
Co?
Surge also apply to movement speed, which is worth noting is now 20%
Nie, no to nie
inherent
może-
from
to nie
Arcane
może
Surge,
zostać
up
na
from
tym.
10.
Nowy skill w ogóle,
Also
Seismic
grant Arcane
Crash.
Surge when you use a
Archmage
movement
musi
skill.
być
This allows
ujebany.
for some
Nowy skill
speedy
jest.
spellcasters. Sometimes you may meet particularly infamous Trathan mercenaries, bearing the name of their house. These mercenaries descend from the 4 major death trade families in Trathus. They are less common, but have far better items. And they are also the sole source of items with new, infamous modifiers, unseen before in Rayclast, such as these gloves, which convert all of your minions' fire damage or this helmet, which causes nearby enemies to take more physical damage as you gain more fortification. If you're not swayed by any of their equipped gear,
Ej, to
however,
przecież
you can
SRS-y
always
teraz
challenge them
easy
for
do
the contents
zrobienia.
of their pockets.
SRS-y?
100% na chaos.
If you lose
O
Bez
this,
nie.
Poltaxi
Don't worry.
Krifta Bamą
You don't need to
napierdalasz
give them
tylko
an item.
chaosem, pozdro.
You aren't bound to Trathan tradition like they are. However, you are bound to Rayclast tradition, so you'll just die.
Almost had me. Well, not really.
While playing in a party, each player can decide whether or not they want to participate in combat against the mercenary. For each player that opts in, the mercenary gets more difficult. But if they're defeated, each player has a 50% chance to get a random
Już
reward,
widzę ilość klipów
which is
u
Ale
usually
wiecie, że
tego.
to
currency
też
items
jest
from the mercenaries'
z
Od
Last
GFL-a.
Epoka,
Ale GFL będzie miał dużo klipów, nie?
Alternatively, party members that opt out of the fight can spectate and cheer you on. Or they might wish for your demise, so they
Ej,
can pick up
Divina nie
that allocated
podniósł.
divine waiting off screen.
Dead. Good.
Co?
Let's say you won the duel, like their items, and have decided to hire them. What combat skills do they
Nie
bring
mogę
to
się
the table?
doczekać.
Each mercenary
Chyba
has a
Aiter miał
gladiator.
rację.
Gladiator.
To jest na
Here,
SC.
this mercenary is an eruptor, which perfectly couples with my slower,
Nowe
more
skille są w
aura-focused
ogóle.
Scion. This mercenary is highly aggressive and will get a
Ej,
lot of benefit from the
totem.
auras and buffs I
Ty-
provided. When I'm playing a more aggressive character myself, though, I'll want a mercenary with a bit more resilience
Co
and
to jest to
utility.
pod W? To jest nowe
I've just
coś,
run
nie?
into a striker who can
To jest
spawn
ten,
with
krzyk,
vigilant
nie?
strike.
No wiem, że kraj,
And if
ale...
you're lucky,
Co to
a
za
very
kraj jest?
rare golden support that causes the fortify granted by his vigilant strike
To nie
to
jest ten
apply
z
to me as
kombustem?
well.
O kurwa, stare gemy.
He
W
will
sensie tak,
also
Jabara.
frequently use enduring cry, taunting
Chyba
enemies
co
off
chodzi
his
z tym
map
currency
and
tak
operating
dokładnie?
as a tanky frontline
To
while
one
they
wypada
blitz off
po
damage from the
pokonaniu?
back.
Nie, możesz wybrać, tak,
Sometimes when
możesz
you
wybrać
find a
item albo
mercenary,
currency,
you
nie?
may notice the skills they're using
Znajdę
are different
takiego z
from normal.
mirrorem i go
For
zatrudnię.
example, this sniper
Dobre.
is using a Trathan version of Siege
A Skuma,
Ballista.
jak znajdziesz takiego z
If you're
Magebladem,
lucky,
z
you'll
czymś
be able
tam,
to select it as your
tylko
reward
to
when
jeden,
challenging them.
I źle
Then
klikniesz.
defeat them and they'll drop the
Nie wybierzesz
Trathan gem
currency.
of
O,
promise.
ej, dobra.
Klasa.
To może być game
You
changer
can only
fest
have
do
one
skilli.
mercenary accompanying you at a time, but up to 3 total in
To
your
może być
service.
duży game changer.
The other 2 will wait patiently
Aha,
in
żeby
town.
lawów nie robić?
Having varied
Nie,
options is
bo to
useful,
całkiem nowe
as there
gemy.
may be situations
które
where you
mają
need
dodatkowe
specific
ale to-
backup,
A
like a
tak, ale to
difficult
są
boss fight.
transy, no to chyba też będą dostępne.
Any of your mercenaries
Jak
you have
transy?
active
To nie były
or in
transy.
your reserves
To
can
był
have
trans,
their
to była
equipment
lista,
replaced
coś
with
tam.
items of your
To
choosing.
był zwykły game, który miał dodatkowe...
They don't
Kurwa,
have
se
a lot,
możecie ubierać
so you
ich.
will want to be looking out for more skilled and more powerful mercenaries as you advance through the campaign
Ja to
and
już
endgame.
widzę supporta.
No patrz, Greater
Trzeba
Kin
będzie
If your
robić.
mercenary falls in combat,
To jest coś
you will
nowego.
need to return to
To
town
są
and
nowe
spend some
rzeczy.
gold on healing
Trigger
supplies to get
slam.
them back on their feet.
Na przykład.
Then perhaps consider giving them some upgrades, if you think it's deserved. I just wanted to clarify, mercenaries do not lose their equipment when
A
defeated.
to nie są po prostu takie
Aha,
opisy,
czyli
co on
nie
używa
traci
jak z
ekwipunku.
If
PoE
your merc
DB?
buddy consistently fails you, you can just dismiss them and find a new, more resilient ally.
You walk your path.
Nie, czekaj, czy ja źle zrozumiałem. Czy
Ale się
tracą
boję tego
ekwipunek? Bo
Nie tracą.
ekwipunek.
Earlier,
A, nie tracą,
I
to
mentioned
dobrze
you could
zrozumiałem,
exile
okej.
Dopóki nie
mercenaries.
zdismisujesz.
If you keep running into a mercenary archetype and you think, man, this guy stinks, their gear is trash and they have no auras, you can then choose to exile them. If you win the duel, they'll be forced to leave with their tail between their legs, and you won't encounter that archetype again for a while. Now, alongside these new Trathan arrivals, we shouldn't forget
Oh,
about the
settlers
recent
took
Kalguran
over.
ones too. As we mentioned earlier, the Settlers update introduced gold-based respeaking of passive points. You can now do so by talking to a number of
Oh.
NPCs throughout Rayclast, starting with Bestel and Lionized
Bang.
Watch. Black market item gambling, previously
Dobra,
just
chuj w to,
available
bo
in
regrety to
Kingsmarch,
lecą,
is
a
now
co z
available in
Atlasem?
each town at the
Skoro
same NPC.
jest mechanika w
This lets you
Atlasie.
buy randomly generated item bases for gold. Very useful if you're stuck for upgrades or searching for a specific unique. The currency exchange will be returning too. Starting from Lionized Watch in Act 6, you'll be able to find Faustus, who can help facilitate these trades.
Zajebiście.
Now, after almost a year of building, Johan is finally satisfied with the upgrades made to the town, and now its services can be used to their full effect. Kingsmarch is going core, but there will be no more town building.
A
As you
rekomby?
start running maps in
Rekomby
the
zostają
endgame,
też?
you'll start to
Właśnie nie
find different
wiadomo.
ore veins, which
Sam jestem
Kalguran
ciekaw.
workers can mine for you. The shipping mechanic invites you to send these ores and
Nie,
crops to Karui and
Bobo!
Kalguran ports, and they'll return rewards in kind.
O nie.
Nie
By
będą
sending shipments, you
znerfione
receive
te.
different items.
No, nie
But by
wyglądają.
sending to Karui
Znowu
ports,
będę
you'll
Veristio
also
wysyłał
receive
tylko, żeby
tattoos,
stacked deki.
which can be used on your passive
Tatuaże.
tree to change what stats they grant. The Kalguran ports will be sending back rune grafts, which is a new passive tree mechanic that replaces the runesmithing service previously offered by the town. These are similar to tattoos, but instead of
O,
replacing
ej,
stat
dobra, to
nodes,
jest
they
akurat-
replace a passive tree
Wow,
mastery
o,
node.
ciekawe.
To jest
For
ciekawe
example,
zastosowanie.
Runegraft of the Bound reduces bonuses gained from boots, but increases bonuses gained from gloves.
To nie jest ciekawe, to jest zajebiste, bo
Runegraft of
często
the
było
River
tak, że
has
się
a chance to
trzeba było
recover your
wybrać
life to
jakieś
full
najmniejsze
if
zło.
you reach low life.
Zwłaszcza na Tricksterze.
And the Runegraft of Time,
Ej, to są
which has a
fajne
chance for
rzeczy.
your cooldown skills to instantly recover from their cooldown,
Cooldown.
which I will note
Ej,
includes cooldowns on your triggers, just in case you wanted to trigger even more spells. There are many other Runegrafts, which cover a wide range of different builds and stats.
Unlinked
Some are
Socket.
more common, and others rarer.
Redukcja
You can
global.
only use one of a given
to jest
type at a
mocne.
time,
Redukcja
but you can use
atrybutów i
them on
global
any
defense.
mastery on your passive tree, which can be particularly useful for off-class investment. Isla
To
has
będzie można
continued to make
skombić z-
modifications to the
rekomby.
Recombinator.
O, właśnie, właśnie.
She has developed a new method of recombination that you may recognize from Path of Exile 2. For those unfamiliar,
No nie.
this method allows you to decide which modifiers on the two input items you want to try merge together, and it has a success chance you can see. This method can result in the items being destroyed. However, it is a good option to use when trying to create items with fewer mods to use as crafting projects. Given
No
the
jest,
existing
bo to
recombinating
zostało tylko
mechanic is
dlatego, że nie
very
chciałem się
powerful for
nowego
topping
Goldsynka
Makro,
robić.
we didn't want to remove it. We have kept it and you can now choose
Ciekawe
to
co
use it
zrobią
the
z
old way
Tricksterem, bo jeżeli
or the
Trickster
new way.
pozostanie w tej formie, w której
By
był, to
letting
i tak
fate
wszyscy są
decide, it will
Tricksterem.
combine the two items
Ale
randomly.
jest też
There is no
stary.
risk of destroying either item, but it will be less predictable. As Settlers is now a core mechanic, we've also added Atlas passive tree
Ja
support.
pierdolę.
For example, if you wanted to gather more Verisium ore, you could take this notable. Each ore has a similar node. Refiner's Bargain converts items dropped by possessed monsters into thaumaturgic dust, sulfite into random
Czyli
ores,
wchodzi nowa
and
liga
life
i
force
ja
into
mogę robić
random
to samo, co
crops.
robiłem 800 godzin w tej lidze, tylko
We've
będę
also
teraz
added
w
a set
Atlasie
of
sobie mógł
Tal'Daren's
wybrać, żeby mi
barracks,
więcej
so you
dawało.
can add more ore
Zajebiście.
deposits, increase the rarity of
3,25
monsters
V2.
that guard ore deposits to at least magic, or gather smelted
czego
bars from ore
były
you
te?
mark instead of ores. To sum it all up,
Te
Kingsmarch
skaraby.
is now a thriving
To są
town
nowe.
where you
Od
can employ a
Settlersów.
swath of workers to collect resources, refine ores,
Ej, szczerze opadł mi
craft
teraz.
items, and run maps for you. Send shipments of
Nie!
resources in exchange for tattoos and rune grafts, using
I
those to
przypominam, że to jest na
modify your
4
passive
miesiące, a
tree to
jest,
an
moim zdaniem
extent
teraz
never
jest
seen
za
before.
dużo.
Kurwa, na rok to jest.
Following on from that,
Nie,
we've
powiedzieli
also
już,
made a
obiecali 4
substantial
miesiące.
rework to another important mechanic, Betrayal. As a refresher, and to explain to new players, let's briefly explain what Betrayal is. Betrayal is a mechanic introduced in Act 9 and tells the story of Jun Ortoi and her investigation of the Immortal Syndicate. This is a mysterious group of exiles who can seemingly come back from death. You must
Błagam,
help Jun
zostawcie
to uncover their
Greviciusa.
leader, the Syndicate Mastermind.
Uber
The
Katarina?
Immortal Syndicate is organized into 4 divisions: transportation, fortification, research, and intervention.
A?
As you encounter the Immortal Syndicate members, you'll gain intelligence for each of these
Że
divisions
będą mówili
to
chyba o tych
discover
zmianach,
the
co już
location of
podawali,
their
nie?
leaders,
Że
tracking
możesz
them to their safe
unveilować
houses.
w miejscu i tak dalej.
Defeating the
Okay.
division leaders at their safe houses will reward you with intelligence on the Syndicate Mastermind. In your journey to track down the Syndicate leader, you'll manipulate the members of the Immortal Syndicate to change
To chyba dla
divisions,
nowych mówią, nie?
form friendships and rivalries,
Ciekawe, czy nagrody bardzo
and even banish them
pozmieniają.
from the Syndicate for a
Oby nie.
time.
O,
A
to
nie
jest
było tak, że
maskę.
ostatnio zmieniali nagrody już?
Historically, after encountering and defeating the Syndicate Mastermind, the state of the Immortal Syndicate would reset,
Aha,
requiring you to start from the beginning of the investigation again.
aha.
This has always been a difficult decision for players and can often feel bad. Do you fight the Mastermind
Nie,
for
to
a
było
chance at the
dobre
special
właśnie.
loot?
To było dobre,
Or
kurwa.
keep farming the safe houses that you've spent so long setting up? Well, in the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've split out the Mastermind to be
Medalion?
completely separate from the core mechanic.
No to też nie jest po
The
to,
boss
żeby
is
ludzie
now
nie
accessible
abusowali
through a
właśnie
new
takiego grawa na
fragment
przykład.
that has a chance
No
to drop from the
właśnie.
safe house leaders at high levels. The Mastermind no longer resets the state of the Immortal Syndicate. You can now build your Betrayal board to your liking, optimize it, do Mastermind fights, and reap the rewards without having to lose all your progress every time.
Co?
O,
The boss
I
fight
jeszcze
itself has
powiedzcie, że
also been
Greviciusa nie
improved,
wyjebiecie.
now with significantly fewer immunity
Będzie
phases
pozdro.
and new rewards.
no Grevicius był,
By the
nie?
way,
To pytanie,
if you're a
jakie
new
bonusy?
player to Path of Exile 1, don't
Oh.
worry about all this detail.
Wiem, że był.
This content is optional, and you can discover and engage with it at your own pace. The Mastermind still has a chance to drop a Veiled Orb, now renamed to Veiled Exalted Orb. Veiled Chaos Orbs are being re-added to other safe house leaders. In addition, the Mastermind now drops the new All Flame Embers.
Okej.
All Flame Embers are map fragments that replace
okay.
monster packs and in-game maps with different types of special monsters. These packs have unusual properties, compositions, or rewards.
A Allflame to są
For
z
example,
3-2-3?
you might use the All
Czy z
Flame Ember
3-2-4?
of Coolness,
3-2-4.
which replaces packs
Oh,
with
coś
Syndicate
takiego.
monsters and their leaders, who revive after the map boss has been slain. This might at first sound annoying due to backtracking, but these monsters when revived are far more intense and rewarding. It is our intention with All Flames to provide many different types that combine with other mechanics,
Podobają mi się te
multiplying with your
balisty.
existing
To jest
modifiers
jakiś
in
support
new
nowy.
and interesting ways.
Albo balisty nowe.
Another good example of this is the All Flame Ember
All
of
Flame of
Obligation.
Kulemak, nice.
When
Alt
slain,
wersja
special
jakaś.
rare monsters added by this All Flame here
All
will
Flame of
spread their
Pokimonek.
modifiers to other rare monsters in the map. This can be useful when trying to create singular, very powerful, and very
O,
rewarding
to SST
monsters.
jest też chyba nowe,
Something
nie?
akin to meat sacks, which are making a reinvented comeback with this
Ej, bez
update too.
kitu.
Tak zostaje w miejscu.
Aha.
Another is the All-Flame Ember of Resplendence, which adds monsters that drop no items. But when you slay them, you get buff stacks of increased quantity and rarity to enhance the drops of all other
kurwa.
monsters. All-Flame Embers can be placed in your map device like scarabs, and used in conjunction with scarabs to further customize your maps. We're looking forward to seeing which combinations players find to enhance their maps. Perhaps you'll use all scarabs, all flames, or maybe mix and match. It's up to you. The Mastermind
tematka
unique
17
items have
coś?
also been improved. The veiled modifiers generated
nadzieję,
on
że je
these
usuną.
items are now from a
O!
custom pool exclusive to those
O
uniques.
kurwa.
Bitterbind Point, for example, can now have
Oh.
various Spectre-specific outcomes, such as +1 additional Spectre.
Wow.
Aside from improved rewards
Race
from the
Spectres
Mastermind,
fire 2 additional
all the safe house
projectiles,
rewards have
człowieku, ale bym
also been
nosił
rebalanced.
nagie.
We've done a pass on the crafting sprees at the end of many safe
Dobra, to
houses.
jest git.
For those who aren't aware how these crafting
jest
sprees work,
Bardzo
zajebiste.
git.
well, it's simple. There's a crafting bench with an
O, to
item in it
fajne.
and a bunch of
W
currency.
końcu będzie można
There's a limited amount
dostać
of
coś
time,
fajnego.
and your only objective is to craft the best item possible before the time ends. One of the problems that the crafting sprees have is that they often require you to have specific items on hand in order to best maximize your result. But how are you supposed to know that beforehand? In order to solve this, most of the crafting sprees now offer pre-generated items. This has also allowed us to add much more powerful crafting options in each spree. Let's take a look at a few examples. In this spree, a randomly generated amulet or ring is waiting for you.
O,
O!
Betrayal.
Test your crafting skill
Mirrorowanko.
or luck with this Reflecting Mist crafting spree, and see if you can create something worthy of Kalandra's praise.
O,
And in this spree, you will find a
kurwa,
pre-generated
mocny
unique item
content.
and a new
Co?
kind of orb that resembles a Val orb, but not quite the same. Normally, you can only corrupt an item once, but uniques in this spree can be corrupted
What?
and re-corrupted as many times as there are orbs.
Co?
This orb also allows you to get 2 corrupted implicits, and has a much lower chance to brick the
O
item.
kurwa,
It can
fajne.
be a very useful tool for seeking
Oh!
specific corrupted implicit
Ty,
outcomes. Of
to
course,
jest ciekawe
if you
w
push your
takim
luck,
razie.
you can still ruin the item.
Okej, ej, to czyli to jest tak
There
jak
are also crafting
Simusa
sprees
te
where you still need
rękawiczki.
to provide an item,
Dobra,
but
dawać mi
those items
efemera
are
ledger.
generally more accessible and it occurs less frequently.
Okej.
Raczej tego
This
tutaj
one
nie
allows you to
ogłoszą.
bring your own normal rarity item. Then just go
No,
ballistic
wyobrażasz
with a
sobie
whole ton
efemera
of
ledger z
scouring
3
orbs
implicitami
and orbs of
i
chance,
45 per
hoping to get
hit
your ideal
i
unique.
Resolute Technique i
jest
jeszcze
fajne.
co,
For
attack
most
speed?
sprees, the rank of the syndicate member increases the amount of currency provided, the quality of the pre-generated items,
Ej,
and
fajne
the time
zmiany.
allowed to
Co jak
craft
są
your
fajne
item.
zmiany.
Aside from the crafting sprees, there are other new options too.
Factory Lens.
If you love gambling for currency, how about you try opening Varici's Emperor's Luck chests? These work just like the Emperor's Luck divination card and provide full stacks of currency. If you're lucky
Ooh.
enough, unlike me, you could end up with a whole lot of divines. Betrayal is a good source of veiled items. Veiled items have some important quality of life improvements in this expansion too. All of the crafting bench options normally granted by unveiling items are
No, to mi się
instead now
podoba.
moved to the core
Mi się
game,
nie podoba.
so you don't need
Dlaczego?
to run Betrayal to unlock them.
Bo pamiętaj, że
Dlatego-
niektóre masz
They
na
are instead
unik
found at
mapach
the
też, nie?
entrances to boss rooms in
To
endgame
raz, a
maps.
dwa, w 9 akcie
top
mogłeś
of
sobie
that,
pofarmić
you no longer need to
elemental
speak to
i
June to
chaos
unveil
resy, teraz tego
items.
nie możesz
You can
zrobić.
just right-click them, or the equivalent on gamepad, and select which veiled modifier you
Co
want
jest
to unveil.
troszkę...
Overall,
downgrade'em,
Betrayal is now
jeżeli chodzi
much
o
more
HC i early
streamlined
game.
and more rewarding. Happy interrogations.
No, nigdy nikt nie będzie robił gry pod graczy HC.
A ja wiem o tym, ale wiesz, jak na przykład ten craft będzie dopiero dostępny od jakiegoś
before we
wyższego
get into our
tieru, to też
quality of
trochę
life
lipa, nie?
edition,
O,
Tak, no
let's
masz
quickly
rację.
talk about some character balance.
Okej.
We will be doing our regular character balance changes, where we are bringing outliers in line to help evolve the meta,
Rework.
but we are also
Assassina.
focusing our attention on buffing some specific things. This includes spellcasting supports that specifically enhance self-casting builds, channeled spells, adding new options to the
Control.
Guardian, Berserker, Elementalist, Saboteur, and Champion Ascendancy classes,
Sabo.
which include some favorites from some of the alternate classes from Legacy of Freshia,
Tak jest!
and a whole bunch of transfigured gems that never really hit the mark.
No!
Combined with the new
Blade
endgame crafting, improved Betrayal crafting options,
Zajebiście
graphs for your
w
passive
chuj.
tree, new pinnacle unique
Chyba zmieniam
items,
start.
new modifiers and Trathus gems from the Mercenaries, and of course the Mercenaries themselves to act as an extension to your character.
Templar ze shrine
It's safe to
buffami,
say there's a
posram się, a ten
lot of new
Slayer to
character
już w ogóle.
options and builds to think about. Instead of delving into all of these in more detail, we figured we'd just let you absorb them through the patch notes so you can do it at your own pace. In the Secrets of the Atlas expansion, we've also added a lot of the quality of life features that we know you've all been asking for. A lot of these have already been posted, but let's take a look
Jezu.
now in case you missed any.
Przecież
You
ten
can now
Return
pause the
Project
game
Time
at
to
any
jest
time
piękna
by pressing
rzecz.
escape to open the menu, or by opening any full screen interface, like the passive tree. You'll also be paused if any lag is detected or if you disconnect. It's worth noting that in certain Pinnacle arenas, a debuff will be applied to you that prevents you from pausing.
Ej, informatyk,
We're also making a change to how you use currency items on strongboxes
Dawaj.
and
bo ty
monsters
grałeś z
imprisoned
tymi
in essences.
shrine'ami, to mocne jest, nie?
Based on the currency in your inventory
To z tymi
and the
shrine'ami
state
to
of the
było
strongbox,
chyba jedna
these
z
buttons will
najfajniejszych
appear.
rzeczy w ogóle, jakie robiłem.
Valuable currency like divine
Tylko,
orbs have been
że
excluded from this as
do
it
tego
will
trzeba
often
było
be
mieć,
wasteful
wiesz,
to use in this context. The same applies to
specjalne te
essences
itemki.
with the remnant of
Tam coś
corruption
dawał jeszcze
currency.
shrine'a i tak dalej.
Orbs of Horizon
no,
have been
ja
updated.
wiem.
Plus mechanika na to
They can now
pozwalała,
reroll your
dlatego że
Elder
pozwalała
and conquer
wydłużać
a Guardian
idolami, nie?
maps.
Czas trwania.
Doing so will
faktycznie,
reroll the base
też
map
racja.
and the guardian of that map.
Ale
The map
zabawa była
device now has a
zajebista,
small
świetnie się
additional
bawiłem.
inventory.
Zwłaszcza jak
W
speleko
środku-
odpaliłeś.
W środku mapowym
if you're
chyba też
rolling
masz
many
coś na
maps to run in
szlajny na
sequence.
długość
No masz,
szlajnu.
masz.
Or if you want to use varying
masz, no bo
amounts
to
of
z idoli
scarabs
pochodzi,
or
nie? Ale-
other map fragments. During breach encounters, all
Bo
the
to jest
splinters will be
spoko, jeny, w
automatically
końcu nie
collected
trzeba będzie
and
biegać
dropped
jak
at the end
zjeb.
of the breach.
Pod
Zobaczymy jak
jednym klikiem.
pokażę już, ale mi się to
On
podoba
gamepads,
bardzo, bo to
we
jeszcze na
have separated
Templarze
the
jest,
targeting
więc
of
można
monsters
sobie
and
zagrać jakąś
non-monsters,
bamę ze
so you
shrine'ami.
are able to target them independently. This removes a bunch of frustration when you are trying to interact with objects in the world and monsters are nearby.
Najgorsze będzie czekanie na
You no
patch
longer
note'y.
have to
Mam
kill all
nadzieję,
of
że
them
zaraz po
first.
Ziggy tym kaście będzie.
Vendor Windows will now remember your last search.
O, to jest
Albo
This
znowu
is
zajebiste.
powiedzą,
remembered
że w
until you
poniedziałek
log out
będzie.
and is remembered on a per NPC basis. The
To
amount of
smutek jak
characters you can type
poniedziałek.
in the search field has also been increased. When using currency items, after right-clicking
Wow,
them, it will
dłuższe
highlight all
Regexy.
other items which that currency
No,
can be used on.
250 znaków teraz.
There
Ale
are many
kozak.
other quality of life improvements, so keep an eye on the patch notes after this live
No
stream
te
concludes.
17 dobre.
Alongside the launch of
Dobra,
Secrets of the
ale
Atlas,
Boże,
we're
nie
using
mów o
the
tych
po
17.
live'ie
where
chyba,
players
po
will
live'ie
race
patch
to be the
note'y,
first
jeżeli
to kill the
usłyszałem.
new pinnacle bosses. The event will take place in the hardcore, solo self-found Mercenaries of Trathus League. We have some interesting prizes in store for the winners. Keep an eye on the news in the lead up to launch for more details about how the event will work and what its prizes are.
A to na oddzielną ligę jest, tak?
Next up, we're going to be talking about our new
Okej,
Dobra.
czyli nowa
Creme
będzie
de la
oddzielna liga na
creme.
boss
Today,
race.
we're launching two new series of supporter packs.
Nie no, na
The
nowej
Frisian
lidze będzie
Magistrate
boss race.
and Crypt Keeper packs. Each tier contains the pack's full face
Pewnie
value in
HCSS
points, alongside
SSF
several
wcześniej.
exclusive
Ta,
microtransactions.
ta, no.
Tak, mówił.
Tak jak
As
powiedział.
always,
A, powiedział,
the
okej.
microtransactions in these packs are purely
Ta, jestem
cosmetic
spóźniony z
and do
15
not affect your
sekund. jak
character's
coś.
power or progression in any way. The Frisian Magistrate series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
O nie, PoE 2, nie.
The Frisian Magistrate character effect
O
will
Jezu.
bind your character in thorny vines and roses.
Seks.
You can select which parts of the character you want to have covered.
Czy Mark powiedział
Either
seks?
your entire body, your lower body, or your upper body. As you approach waypoints, it will emit leaves and golden petals towards it. When activating the waypoint, it will create a burst around you. Envelop your weapon in thorny vines and golden flora with the Frisian Magistrate weapon
Zgadza się.
effect. Your weapon will also create a trail to match as you swing, and even comes with its own hit effect when slaying enemies.
O, ale gówno.
You are the law while wearing the armor of the powerful Frisian Grand Magistrate.
The fuck?
The Spider Blossom pet activates its defense mechanism, disguising it as an elegant flower when near rare or unique enemies. The Frisian Imperial Magistrate back attachment comes in 2 forms. Equip either the Tombstone variant, which will leave tombstones in your honor when you meet your demise, or equip the Cape variant to cause the corpses of
HC-ku
slain
powinno
enemies to become
zostawać.
enveloped in rose thorn vines and blossom with golden flowers. Keep track of how well or poorly your ultimatums with the Trial Master have gone with the Trials of
to jest
Chaos hideout
ciekawe
decoration.
akurat, ale nie...
It will keep
Kisak
track of
się
the total number
zadowoli.
of waves completed, the total number of ultimatums succeeded,
Ja nie lubię ultimatum
even
robić,
failed.
jakoś nie wiem, whatever.
On top
Ja
of that,
też
it will
nie.
track the total number of times you've defeated the Trial Master himself.
To też zależy jakim
The
grasz
Crypt Keeper
buildem.
Pack
Jak grasz
series
fajnym
also
buildem, to
contains
ultimatum to
6
samo się
exclusive
fajnie.
microtransactions. With the Crypt Keeper finisher effect, death itself will tear through into the realm of the living and steal the soul of slain unique enemies.
Nie wiem, whatever. Nie
The
robisz...
Crypt Keeper portal effect creates a gateway for lost souls to pass through. Become
Fajna
the true
animacja.
master of the
O,
undead by wearing the
to
hallowed
ładne.
Crypt Keeper armor set. It comes with a more armored helmet variant and a creepy mask with a spectral hood. Looking to have some fun during idle time in your hideout?
Oj, to matmy.
The Burrowing Bramble Bash hideout decoration
Wygląda jak moja
will test your
nauczycielka
reaction
od
speed
geografii.
as you try to whack as many Devourer heads as possible
Okej,
in
to
the
jest
shortest
akurat
time.
fajne.
It also comes with a scoreboard, so you can try to set new records to show off
Aha,
to
to
your
jest
friends
uderz tego
or just
kreta.
visitors coming to
Dobra.
join. Equip yourself with the Ghostly Dead as you ride the
ładne.
line between the
Z
living and the
Devorerami,
dead with the
okej.
sacred Crypt Keeper back attachment. The Sacred
attachment
Archives
ładny.
map device resembles a magical library with the works of scholars that come to life when you open a
Też,
map.
też ładne.
This map device tracks how many of each core league you've completed in in-game maps.
O!
These packs are now available for purchase on both PC and console,
Fajne.
and will remain so during Path of Exile,
No,
Mercenaries
to
of
jest akurat
Trathus.
git.
Additionally, any microtransactions from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 2.
Po co
Meanwhile,
wspominałeś?
the Paladin
Elva
and
mention.
Penance packs leave the store forever at the launch of the Mercenaries of Trathus League, so now's your last chance to purchase them. Additionally, the Dawn of the Hunt mystery box will be made available for Path of Exile 1. If you have already unlocked any microtransactions from this box in Path of Exile 2, you will of course immediately have access to them in Path of
Jeżeli
Exile 1.
aseciki z PoE2 i sprzedają w
Thank you
PoE1.
so much
To
for
jest
your ongoing
dobry
support.
model biznesowy.
We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post the full patch notes